trust them. I've trusted them with my life.
I don't know if I would be here today without all of their help and their support.
They were out of this world fabulous.
They treated me like I was a guest more than a patient.
The caregivers really are the true rock stars, aren't they?
Every patient deserves and should have the care that I'm getting at Suma.
I'm cancer-free because of them.
With every patient, every day, Suma Health delivers personal, life-changing care.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Hello, my name is Brian Keith, and welcome to Volume 1 of Akron Zips from A to Z. Today we look at the story of a young football and track star here at Akron. A young man who beamed so bright that it cast away the shadows around him, including those of his past. A young man by the name of Kwadarrius Smith.
He's a very kind-hearted, and I hate to say it, he's a very sweet person. He's a good person.
He deserves all of this because he has put in the work years and years.
He has that way about him that I know he's going to go far in whatever he does, and he deserves every bit of success that comes his way. He does.
With all the success that I've been having, me and my team have been having, get to the MAC championship and come off a big win yesterday, and and stuff like that. I honestly tell my mom, my dad that I love them.
To the public, a football player's story begins here on the field. However, they're just like the rest of us. We all have a story that begins at birth and ends at death. And even though we try to put people on pedestals, we all have our share of trials and tribulations. Unfortunately for some of us, this can begin very early in life.
My first time going to foster care, I was 4 years old. The first experience was my biological mother wasn't home at the time. We were living in this motel over on the South Orange Blossom Trail. It's in Orlando, kind of like a rough area. And I was trying to make myself something to eat, and I burnt myself trying to make some food. There was hot water on the stove already from whatever they were doing with it. And when I tried to reach up and get something, there was nothing in there, but the pot tipped over, and I burned myself in my stomach. And I guess the lady, real old lady next door, we got her name, but she was kind of like a Mexican Hispanic lady. She called the cops and the ambulance, and then that was my first experience of DCF and foster care. And I went to a different home like 2 days later.
I know that Kwadarrius would stay a lot with the McDonoughs, and we would all, as a community, because our neighborhood was really close and everyone knew each other, that we kind of all took care of him.
Over time, we heard the story of his childhood. He would share things with us about his experiences, and we would have contact with Grandma here and there. We would bring him home from events and pick him up for things, and we would meet her briefly. She didn't really want to get too involved in things that he was doing, so we just tried to step in and keep him involved and let him have some of the experiences.
I went back in like third grade, and this time it was relative foster care. My grandmother on my father's side, who still lives in Orlando, she's still alive and everything. She took me in a relative foster care, and it was just bad. Things just weren't good at home. She just cared a lot more about herself and the relationships that I guess that she had with like gambling and smoking and drinking and stuff like that, and cared about me and my education and just like what I involved myself with in school and stuff. So that's why I guess that's when it kind of all started. When my real, like the days I could remember foster care.
He didn't want to be at home. He wanted to be at our house or another friend's house. And he took it upon himself to get out of there and get where he needed to be, where people would say, have you done your homework? Sit down and do your homework.
I just knew it was kind of messing me up mentally. Like a lot of stuff that, you know, I would see, and a lot of times it would come from just seeing how kids' mom and dad would just pick them up from school, and how, you know, their dads would like give them a hug or a kiss, and their moms give them hugs and kisses and tell them to have a good day and pack their lunches and stuff like that. And it just kind of made me like a little sad, you know, and like a little emotional, and just knew that I was in a tough situation, because that's not what people at my house did, and that's not the type of environment that I grew up in. So it was definitely one of those moments where it's like, I know I need to get away, because there aren't good, it's not good stuff happening at home.
The community embraced Kwadarrius. He's just one of those guys that if he claims you, you're his. And it's our family and some other families that opened their hearts and opened their homes to him and really wanted to see him be that success story.
I have a lot of families, the A-Bears, who've been so great to me. And I mean, we've had our differences, but they've been really, really great to me, and they've been like family, and they're just someone I can call and talk to from time to time, and whenever I need something, she's always right there, and Mr. A-Bear is always right there, and I love her kids, like family, brothers and sisters, and the Thielens. They are actually one of the first families that I've met, besides the Laytons, and I mean, their kids are around my age. We have done nothing but just bond, and just a great family for me. Just the bond that we had, and the way that they took me into in college and all that. So it was great. I mean, we have the Williams, like I said, the Williams, the McGee's, just a lot of family that really took me in under their wings and made sure that I became the young man that I'm becoming today. And it just gets kind of hard sometimes when you're up here, homesick, 18 hours away, and they're just trying to make sure that I'm staying on track, and that everything that needs to happen is happening, and everything that's supposed to happen happens.
See, that's another thing I really admire about him, is he wasn't like ashamed, you know, or he would, you know, talk to us about it, and that really like opened our eyes too, because I never met someone that like had never, because my family had its issues, of course, like everybody, but it never was I going house to house or switching, and that really like, I don't know, we all took turns, you know, taking him in and just showing him love in every way possible.
I knew Kwadarrius when he was a youngster. He went to grade school with my daughter Jamie, Taylor, and my son TJ, and we'd come over to our house and play. And all I knew he was a friend of ours. I did not know he was going to become a football player or a track star, and that one day he would be playing for the Akron Zips.
The fondest memories that we have are with youth group and how we worship together with our kids, and mission trips that we took, you know, during the summer times, and very memorable.
When I first started youth group, I didn't really know what to expect, because, you know, everyone there was, I mean, I could say like I was Christian before and stuff like that, but I never really like practiced it like that, you know. So when I started youth group, I started just like being around people that were like godly and like more successful, and then like they were doing better, and stuff like that. And I wouldn't say that I was a problem child by any means, but I had some struggles with my life that I probably should have, like any other kid would probably have, but they didn't really have the right guide and, you know, the right person to sit there and guide them on. So youth group has definitely getting close to God and getting closer to Christ and being there with my friends, and we're all sharing that one bond, has really made me and grew me into the person that I am today.
We connected a lot through youth group. Every Wednesday night we went to youth group, and that's where a lot of us made the strongest bonds that we still have today. Like some of my best friends I've had because of youth group. And he stayed a lot with, like in my neighborhood that I grew up in, a lot of us, we lived in the same neighborhood, and so we lived very close. So all the boys like that were in our grade would go to Riley McDonough's house, or Grayson Vaughn's house, and then all the girls would stay at my house down the street, and we'd always meet up there.
We stayed connected all through high school, through youth group, and just Kwadarrius always coming over to our house. And so he would tell us about games and stuff that he had going on, and we would go see him then. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see each other at school. It was just at events outside of school.
Just trying to be the best quad I can be every day, and spiritually growing and trying to get my relationship with Christ right. So youth group has definitely been, I feel like if it wasn't for youth group, I don't really know what I'd be today. It just, the morals and the morality part of it is just what you love about it. So it's definitely been a great one.
By the time I had become acquainted with him, he was living with a foster family, and the parent, or the foster parent, was a football player, Dane Williams, who played for my dad, who lived down the street from me. But I had not come acquainted with him until Dane Williams called me and said, "You sure need to look at this guy. He's playing for one of the local high schools, and he can really run fast. They don't know how to get the ball to him, but he can really play well." So I recruited Kwadarrius out of high school. Well, he got offered a full scholarship to Missouri to run track. And that's what he thought he would do. And they promised him, I think, that he could play football. But when he got there, he's not a big guy, and they were playing very well. They decided, "You're just going to run track. We're not going to let you play football." So one night I got that call from him and said, "Coach, I want to play football and run track." And I said, "If you want to do it, if you want to come here, you get your release, and I'd love to have you." And he got his release, and sure enough, he came to Akron, and the rest is history. He's done great on the track, and he's done great on the football field.
We're so happy that we are part of his story. But this is a man on a mission. He had that fire in his belly that he was going to make his life good. And athletics was his way to do that. That was his ticket out of a really, really hard situation in a life that he was in. And he used it to his advantage. And people saw that in him, his teachers and his friends' parents, and they all sort of got on board with the Kwadarrius train, and everybody wanted to see him succeed.
He's had a difficult life, most of us consider, because of just his living arrangements and how he had to come through difficult situations. But he's a very kind-hearted, very, and I hate to say it, he's a very sweet person. He's a good person, and I think I think of him like my own children. When I see that he can't find a way back home, or he just wants to spend time with his family, or at times he gets lonely, and so I've enjoyed being around him. And I'd almost feel like, of all our players, he feels like one of my children.
He has that way about him that I know he's going to go far in whatever he does, and he deserves every bit of success that comes his way. He does.
Like I said, I'm thankful, and I credit it to God, and I credit it to the people who have busted their butt to get me to where I am today. And I just credit to everybody who just stood on my side and loved me unconditionally and made sure that I had the future that I was going to have. So,
Kwadarrius Smith, an inspiration and a beacon of light in a sometimes dark world, rising above the bad to be a force of good. On behalf of myself and Akron Athletics, thank you for joining us on Akron Zips from A to Z.
I just want to start like a recreational for inner city and kids that are privileged, just to come together. That's what we need. We just need a diversity of everybody from different backgrounds to understand each other. That way the world is a better place.